Yeah, so I just watched that Jake Paul documentary on Netflix, and nobody in my life cares even a little, not even a little. So we'll make a video about it. Is it good? It's like a race to the bottom, whether it was more boring or more annoying. But because they're so intertwined, it was just an irritating, long experience. I played video games while I was doing it, and it felt like a 3 hour, like, it was rough. Who is this for? Well, it's a Netflix sports documentary from a sports documentary series, and so I guess they're pitching Jake Paul as like an up and coming unconventional boxer who's stirring up the system. Mike Tyson is obviously very much featured because he's a fan of this. Logan Paul, his brother, he loves the camera. He's in it constantly. At one point he pours his own energy drink into a martini glass and takes a bubble bath, and that's about as the Paul brothers as you can get, I feel like, you know? So if you're a sports fan and you have heard of these guys, you're not watching this because they suck. If you're a sports fan and you haven't heard of these guys, I think you're going to give it 5 minutes and realize that these guys are just like vapid. Their brand is vapid. Their whole thing is everybody's a genius or an asshole, and shirtlessness and tattoos and their energy drinks and, you know, follow the bouncing ball. Their audience is children on YouTube. And I'm not convinced children on YouTube are going to watch a Netflix documentary, sports documentary. I'm just not. If only for the fact that these guys live on the internet. So if you're a fan of theirs, obviously I'm not because I'm a grown up. But if you're a fan of theirs, which means you're a child, I'm not being condescending. I'm saying I think their demographics are like 12-year-olds. I don't see how any grown human can tolerate these people. Yeah, but you already see them in real time. You're already consuming their content on social media and YouTube and everything in real time. So this documentary is like 6 months too late to begin with. So yeah, I'm not convinced anybody is going to watch this Netflix episode in earnest. I know critics aren't because it's not worth it, but like, it appeals to no one. It offers nothing new because the people that are fans of these are already watching their other content anyway. That's their whole thing. And they don't have enough of interior lives or enough of interesting things going on to be interesting to anybody outside of what their fans already are fans of. I guess it's that. You know, it's even if this wasn't a documentary, if this was a feature film or something, there's an argument to be made there that they're trying something. Ironically, when I was in film school, my worst class forced us to sit through Logan Paul's Bang Bang Shoot Shoot School movie, and just don't watch it. You know, I think that's the easiest way to say it. I could do a whole rant about that, but the short answer is, you know, we already suspected this class was kind of a joke, and then when they had us watch this, it's hard to make eye contact with your professor afterwards. So, was it more annoying? It was annoying. It was boring. It was annoying. It was slow. I was playing video games the whole time and it still felt like a 4 hour movie. I don't know. If you're a fan of their bro culture, I'm not even sure there's enough there for that. I think this is a good indication for Netflix to recognize, because this is the first day this thing is out, and they're going to know by now, by the time my video comes out, that it's going to be obvious to them that nobody watched this. A lesson that Amazon learned several years ago when he made the Bang Bang Shoot Shoot School movie, Logan did. So, yeah. I don't know. Are these guys playing characters, or are they really this intolerable? Does it really matter at this point? The only thing I will credit the documentary for doing something, like attempting to do something and then immediately veering away from it. It was two things. First thing was, at some point, one of his exes accused him of bad touching. Didn't know, but not a surprise. Just not a surprise. The other thing was the two boys' relationship with their dad, who's in the video. He's in the documentary a little bit, and he sucks. But it's basically dad was a hitter. That's really what it is. They spend like 10 minutes on this, but they don't do a good job. And there's a real argument to be made that there's a real interesting, nuanced mental health conversation that could be started by this, but then the documentary realizes that that's way too interesting and goes right back to like high-fiving and, you know, pouring energy drinks on people. Dad was a hitter. Clearly, both of the boys internalized that. The mom doesn't even speak to that, which I think is incredibly telling, because clearly she knew, based on how upfront they are about the fact that Dad was a hitter. Dad fully denies it. That's a whole thing that the documentary doesn't address, but that's a whole thing. But Logan has internalized it, at least according to this Netflix documentary. By Dad hitting me, I didn't like it, but it made me who I am today, and therefore I owe everything to my dad because he made me a hero, which is mental health. There's mental health. Jake honestly may have had a healthier reaction to it. Jake has a real problem with the fact that Dad hit him. And Logan absolutely cannot understand it, cannot connect with this idea that Jake has beef with the fact that Dad hit him. Although if you know anything about anything, hitting kids messes them up physically, sets their brain up for bad stuff for their entire lives. And so much of mental health as an adult is dedicated to undoing the problems done in childhood, and hitting kids is a major problem. So there's an interesting conversation to be had there that Logan is in. Maybe Logan will get help and actually understand what he experienced differently in a healthier way. I certainly hope for Jake's sake he does, because he seems to be really struggling with it, which honestly might be, I honestly think that might be healthier, the fact that he's struggling with it. It sucks that his support network straight up doesn't agree with his point of view on it, because don't hit a kid. Just don't hit it. Don't hit kids ever. Don't do bad things to kids, because it screws up their brains, and you know, it's not a coincidence that more people are in therapy than ever. And also every indie film is about childhood trauma, because childhood trauma is childhood trauma. It stays with you. So not a fan of their dad, not a fan of them either. They suck for other reasons, but the monsters they are today, I think all three of them would agree, has been contributed by their dad, and that's gross. So I went off the rails here. Worthwhile documentary? No, not even a little bit. But it doesn't matter, because nobody's going to watch this, so it doesn't matter. The rule in Hollywood is don't talk bad about a project because you don't know who your next job is going to be with. I'm okay. I have no problem with talking about Jake Paul's sports documentary, because everybody that creatively worked on this, at best it was you're peeing in the ocean, and at worst you're contributing to the bad behavior of these people who I'm still holding a candle for. They're going to get some kind of comeuppance, if only for the amount of scamming and fraud they do on a daily basis to their own, children audience. So, gross. Like, share, subscribe, and next time won't be so gross. See ya.